This is Eagle Al, and today we'll be talking about Jalen Hurts. He's not playing with the media. Also, DeVonta Smith locked in. Lastly, Barkley leadership just can't be explained, man. But let's get straight into it. All right, before we hop straight into it, even before we get to today's sponsor, I gotta say prayers for the victims in the plane crash in the northeast of Philadelphia. Man, I seen that jump last night. It was crazy, 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 crazy. You had the plane crash, a couple days ago in DC, yesterday in Philadelphia. But prayers to the victims, man. It is a sad situation, really, really sad. Then I'm hearing it was like two pilots, a patient, and then there was a pediatric. So that means it was a kid, and I think it was a parent. I could be wrong. I know it's about like six people, and man, this is some crazy stuff going on with these planes, man. I don't know if I'm gonna catch one this year. I don't know, man. Yeah, I've been talking about Jalen Hurts a lot, maybe because the Super Bowl is coming up, and we limited on topics, but it been a lot of Jalen Hurts in the media. But there were two goats because I've been talking about the negative side, but the positive side is that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady has been talking about Jalen Hurts in a positive light. Let me play these clips.
Yeah, Peyton, his counterpart, Jalen Hurts, we've seen all the stats about guys going to the Super Bowl and then never making it back. He's obviously done that a couple years after. But for you particularly, how much did you learn after your first Super Bowl, whether it was, handling the week and all that kind of stuff or like the game itself? Like, how much more comfortable do you think Jalen Hurts will be in this Super Bowl as opposed to the last one when they played the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think he'll be way more comfortable. Look, Mahomes, gets his mail sent to the Super Bowl every year because he knows he's going to be there. Hurts, I remember talking to him a couple of years ago about kind of, hey, what's any advice? What's the routine? And he didn't call me for that this year because he knows it. And I think, the more comfortable you are during the week, the better you're going to play. Sirianni, I talked to Nick about it, and he said, "Do you have any thoughts?" I'm like, "Nick, you know what to do." I think they'll kind of put the game plan in this week. Is that they were going to play kind of Sunday, and then next week you go down and review. But look, Jalen is probably one pass interference from a couple years ago from being a Super Bowl champion quarterback. He is a championship quarterback from college, so he thrives in these type of moments, and I see him playing well. I think a lot of attention is going to be on Saquon, as it should, including from the Chiefs and Spags. So I think Jalen and Brown and Smith are going to have to do some things in the passing game, and he certainly can do that.
Yeah. Watched so much of these teams. This will be your fifth Eagles game. And their offensive line, to me, and I think Jalen's great, but the offensive line's insane. You had good offensive lines. I don't know if you had 4 Hall of Fame offensive linemen. Have they gotten better? Do you feel like every time you watch the Eagles, it was a different version, or do you kind of know what you're going to get when you call their games?
I think they've been, Sirianni is done a great job with the adversity this year and dealing with the adversity. And, I see him hot-tempered at times. I really like that attitude that he's got. There's a lot of consistency. You see that week to week. And I think there has been a lot of consistency over the course of the season from this team. When I think they're really unstoppable is when Jalen Hurts is playing in rhythm in the pass game. Because I look at that defense. The secondary's been consistent. They've been great all year. Fangio scheme. Zach Bond's been as consistent as anybody. That D-line, Jalen Carter, Sweat, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, those guys are consistent. So the entire defense is consistent. The running game's been there all year. That's consistent. A.J. Brown getting open man coverage and DeVonta Smith. That's consistent. Goddard getting open. That's consistent. The line blocking well. That's consistent. When they can string a consistent rhythmic passing game together, I think they're pretty unstoppable.
Hey, man, when you get acknowledged by the GOATs, you can't be mad at that. When Cam Newton, who haven't won a ring, dish you, Chase Daniels, who never been the starter, dish you. These backup quarterbacks, Ryan Fitzpatrick, dish you. Chill. But when it's Tom Brady giving you the praise and Peyton Manning, That'll let you know what level you on, right? Another quick hit. Kellen Moore. The Kellen Moore thing was confusing all day. So yesterday I seen like, oh, he might not take the job because the quarterback situation. Then later saying that they gonna have another interview with Kellen Moore, and it looked like Kellen Moore might be a Saint. He trying to gather up his staff, so they can't officially hire him until the Super Bowl is over. So we'll see. We'll watch and see. But if I was Kellen Moore, I get it. This is a once in a lifetime job. I would not take it because they put him in a bad situation with the quarterbacks and cap hell. But we'll see. We'll see what the Saints do and Kellen Moore do. Fangio versus Patrick Mahomes. Now, I kept seeing this that he's 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes and how Patrick Mahomes just got his number. When you look at the numbers and you deep dive into it, Patrick Mahomes only averaged about 22 points against him. And I don't believe the offensive side never did Vic Fangio no justice because they were scoring like 6 points, 14 points. I think the highest is 16 points. Yeah, that was the highest amount of points the offense ever scored that he had against Patrick Mahomes. Rest was like 6 points, 3 points, and like the offense wasn't doing any justice. Now, if Patrick Mahomes don't score over 22 points again on Vic Fangio, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Our offense is going to put up more than 6 points, 16 points. So Vic Fangio definitely does his job against Patrick Mahomes, but he can never get the offense to do their job. So the myth that, oh, he never beat Patrick Mahomes, while it is true, but you got to deep dive into it on why, because the offensive side never did his duty. All right. All right. So let's get into the injury report. Last but not least, so there were some guys that was questionable. To me, the big one was Kenneth Gainwell. I really didn't pay any mind when we signed Lou Nichols back to the practice squad, but that makes sense since Kenneth Gainwell is questionable with the concussion, I believe a knee injury as well. So that's the big one because Kenneth Gainwell, if it's special teams, if it's just that big run, he's been very productive. It will be interesting if he can't play in the Super Bowl and see what Will Shipley can do. But it's the last game of the year. I think Kenny Gainwell going to try to make a push for it. But again, that Lou Nichols sign is a huge sign that you might not get any Kenny Gainwell at all. But to me, Kenny Gainwell, his luxury been, again, the special teams just coming in, getting that first down, adding to what Saquon Barkley is doing. Trust me, Kenny Gainwell will never be a Saquon Barkley, but he's a good number two. Saquon Barkley might break one for 2025. Barkley will get some rest, and then you have Gainwell get like 7, 8 yards on the next run. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he can play, but that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And then Will Shipley get his opportunity and see what he can do. But if Gainwell come back, it'll just be great. I'll say that. It'll be great. All right, so let's get into the main topics. Hurts is not playing with the media this time. I kept saying this, and I may sound like a broken record, but when we won the NFC Championship game this year, and then you compare to 2022, I don't want to say 2022, they were just happy to go to the Super Bowl, but they was overly excited. This time, the guys seem more chill, doing what they need to do. It seemed like they was completely locked into the next game. And let's listen to just some of these clips of Jalen Hurts just talk about the past Super Bowl and what he need to do.
What's your most vivid memory of that Super Bowl?
Next question.
What did you learn from that and that you can apply to returning?
There we go. I think hindsight, from a perspective that everyone's not really experienced that before, everything that comes with the week. I think that's something that's big is just being of good influence on the guys that haven't been there before, being able to answer questions and open that door, so everyone's that much closer when we go out there and experience. Because in the end it's a business trip, and it's an opportunity that we've worked for to have, and we want to take advantage of.
Look, he said like, yo, that was the past. Like, here we go again. He was extremely serious. And I was listening to Jacob Media, and they was talking about Jalen Hurts on John McMullen. He like, yo, Jalen Hurts is locked in. I wish I would have grabbed the clip. But he says something in that matter, like Jalen Hurts is in a different type of mode right now. Really, really different type of mode. So, look, we're going to see some good. I think we're going to see some really, really good Jalen Hurts play. Saquon Barkley is locked in as well. And he talked about the leadership of the team and like the pieces, him, Jalen, the receivers, and the O-line. And let me play that clip.
The way you win championships, the way you do special stuff is together. So it's not like, I don't think that's being a good teammate. I'll be a fool not to realize that. I play running back. You can hand me the ball. I don't care how great you are. But if I got 5 guys in the backfield, I'm not Superman. I can't make all those guys miss. And that's just the reality of it. Jalen, guys got to get open. Jalen got to make the throw. AJ got to make the catch. That's how the game works. And I think we've lost that in today's world where, how much we all get paid and, you have stats of Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, like it's those two guys going against each other. That's not the truth. It's a team sport. Yes, it stems from my parents, but it's not hard to realize. And I think a lot of other people need to start realizing that too.
Locked in, ready to go. So again, shout out to Saquon Barkley, man, and just being that leader. Continue to be that leader. And man, I know it was his first year, but he deserves that C on his chest. I know he's a captain without being a quote unquote captain, but man, Saquon is something else. But last but not least, let's talk about DeVonta Smith just a little bit. DeVonta Smith, he spoke to the media as well, and he seemed locked in and very serious. He was serious the first time too, but he like, yo, the Chiefs is just in the way. Let me play this clip.
Yeah, you think about it all the time. I mean, especially playing it again, playing the same team. You think about it. Think about what you did when you playing a familiar opponent. The things that they did in that game. Watching film. You go back and you watch the game. We played some of those guys, seeing what they were doing then, if they were doing anything different now.
Do you use it as fuel, or are you the kind of player that uses that type of stuff as fuel?
Nah, that don't do nothing for me. It's the next team trying to stop us from getting to our end goal.
Was there any point this season?
DeVonta Smith. I expect big things out of him this game too. Locked in, and he want to win this game. He wants to win this game. And then it's a rematch. I'm telling you, this is where the stars are going to align. I said it against the Chiefs, and I mean not against the Chiefs. Said it against Washington. Let me say it against the Chiefs. I believe going into this game is going to be one of our complete games. Just like how we did Washington. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good game. Saquon, the receivers, Dallas Goedert, and then the defense going to come along. And don't sleep on our special teams. Don't sleep on our special teams getting the turnover. This ain't going to happen where we punted the ball, remember, against the Chiefs. Then you got the guy, Kadarius Toney, running all the way to the wing. That's not going to happen. We got a better punter. We got better gunners. Like, this team is overall better than that 2022 team. The 2022 team was great, but it's not messing with this team. Not at all. So, again, man, the team is locked in. We're doing what we need to do. And I'm happy that we're not satisfied or just making it to the Super Bowl. We got business to handle. But that's all I got for you guys today. And, hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel? First of all, again, prayers up to the victims and the plane crash in Philadelphia, not just Philadelphia, in D.C. as well. Also, the quick hits, Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, how we feel about that stuff, and Jalen Hurts being locked in, Barkley being locked in, DeVonta Smith being locked in. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm out.